السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، والصلاة والسلام على النبي المرسل رحمة للعالمين النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما بعد، حياكم الله وبياكم أحبتي في الله، ومرحبا بكم في درسكم الأسبوعي في التفسير. And as we learned from the Sheikh, Tafseer السعدي. It's a long story, but I'm not going to go there right now. عموما, we were at ayah number 28 of Surah Saba, and joining us is Mussab, who will be reciting those ayat inshallah. تفضل مشكورا مأجورا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وما أرسلناك إلا كافة للناس بشيرا ونذيرا ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل لكم ميعاد يوم لا تستأخرون عنه ساعة ولا تستقدمون.
Tamam. And we have not sent you except comprehensively to mankind as a bringer of good news or good tidings and a warner. But most of the people do not know. And they say, when is this promise if you should be truthful? Say, for you is the appointment of a day when you will not remain thereafter an hour, nor will you precede it. The Shaykh alayhi rahmatullahi ta'ala says in commenting on these ayat, يخبر تعالى أنه ما أرسل رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا ليبشر جميع الناس بثواب الله ويخبرهم بالأعمال الموجبة لذلك. He said, Allah the Exalted informs us that He has only sent His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam so that He may give glad tidings to all of the people. Glad tidings regarding what? The reward of Allah. And to inform them about the deeds they need to acquire which necessitate this reward from Allah. What do you need to do to be rewarded? وَيُنذِرَهُمْ عِقَابَ اللَّهِ, and he further warns them against the punishment of Allah. وَيُخْبِرَهُمْ بِالْأَعْمَالِ الْمُوجِبَةِ لَهِ, and he should also inform them about the deeds which will bring about the punishment of Allah. فَلَيْسَ لَكَ مِنَ الْأَمْرِ شَيْءٌ, then you have absolutely no involvement in the matter. You have no involvement in the matter. You have no interference in the affair. وكل ما اقترح عليك أهل التكذيب والعناد فليس من وظيفتك. And all of those matters that the people of lies and stubbornness have proposed, they've proposed upon you, none of them are part of your roles and responsibilities. إنما ذلك بيد الله تعالى. Verily that is in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jal alone. In the hand of Allah alone. So what is the Shaykh referring to? What did the people of Takdhib and Inad suggest and recommend and require of the Prophet ﷺ? So many things. They wanted him to bring about the punishment of Allah now if he is truthful. They wanted him to have castles. They wanted him to be a king. They wanted him to so many things. Let the sky fall on us, kisafan kama za'amt, as you have claimed. Or bring about the angels and Allah before us. All of these things that they were requiring of the Prophet ﷺ, they were suggesting that he does. Allah's telling us none of these are part of his job. The main job of the Prophet ﷺ was to give people good tidings and tell them the deeds that will bring about those good tidings, and to warn them and tell them about the deeds that will bring about the punishment of Allah. That's it. That's it, in a nutshell. ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. However, most of the people do not know. أي ليس لهم علم صحيح. They don't have sound knowledge. بل إما جهال أو معاندون لم يعملوا بعلمهم. They are either ignorant or they are stubborn people that don't even apply the knowledge that they have. فكأنهم لا علم لهم. So it becomes as though they have no knowledge. So having knowledge that you don't act upon is as though you have no knowledge. Having knowledge that you are stubborn against is as though you have no knowledge. You become equal to the ignorant people. That's why many knowledgeable people are actually ignorant. Many knowledgeable scholars and shuyukh and ulama and du'at are actually ignorant. They're knowledgeable in the sense that they've accumulated a lot of information. They've accumulated a lot of ilm in terms of the database, in terms of acquisition. They've learned for many years, received many degrees, spent their lives authoring and writing and learning. But all this, if they are stubborn against the truth which the knowledge contains, then they are to be equal. They are treated and they are perceived to be equal to the ignorant people who don't know anything. That's why it's not about how much you know, it's about what you do with what you know. That's why you can have a person with very basic Islamic knowledge upon pure Tawheed. And you can have a person with very advanced Islamic knowledge upon pure Shirk. Using the very knowledge they have to mislead you and others from the path of Allah, to justify wrongdoing, to justify Shirk, to justify evil, and so on and so forth. They don't use the knowledge in a manner which is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ومن عدم علمهم جعلهم عدم الإجابة لما اقترحوه على الرسول موجبا لرد دعوته. Allah subhanallah. And part of the lack of knowledge that they have is them making the suggestions they gave the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he did not respond with, him not meeting his suggestions, they made this as basis and ground to reject his invitation. Meaning, if you don't do the things that we require of you to do, we will therefore not accept your da'wah. And that, gentlemen and ladies, brothers and sisters, is ignorance. Because you, in essence, you are suggesting that you are the one who is in charge, not Allah. That you call the shots, not Allah. That you determine what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, not Allah. That you are the one who judges guidance from misguidance, not Allah. You're pretty much an iblis in the making. That's what you are. And many Muslims have fallen into this very trap. That they want Islam to adjust to their critical thinking. That's why someone like YK will say that we need to look into the penal codes. We need to look into the stoning to death, the chopping of the hand of the thief, killing the killer. All of these, according to him, are things that we need to look into and investigate and study. YQ? What did I say? YK? They need to be looked into because, come on. That's really what it is. That's what it is in essence. They're suggesting that Allah doesn't know what's up. They know what's up. They got it all figured out. You see what I'm saying? It's عجيب. فمما اقترحوه استعجالهم العذاب الذي أنذرهم به. As I mentioned earlier, one of the suggestions that they made is that they wanted the hastening of the adhab, which the Prophet ﷺ warned them against. They wanted that adhab to come already. You gotta love it when someone does not know the difference between bald B-A-L-D and bald B-O-L-D. Muhammad Habibi, you're a champ. Not only are you a wicked person interrupting a class, you also don't know how to spell and you don't even have basic English skills. You are an L, my friend. This should be your profile picture on your WhatsApp. الشاهد, block this عبقري. أي فقال ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين وهذا ظلم منهم. And so Allah said, and they say, where is that punishment if you are truthful? And the Shaykh said, this is oppression on their part. فأي ملازمة بين صدقه وبين الإخبار بوقت وقوعه. What is the relationship between the truthfulness of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and between him telling you when the punishment will come to pass? وهل هذا إلا رد للحق وسفه في العقل? Is this anything but rejection of the truth and feeble-mindedness? أليس النذير في أمر من أحوال الدنيا لو جاء قوما يعلمون صدقه ونصحه ولهم عدو ينتهز الفرصة منهم ويعد لهم فقال لهم تركت عدوكم قد سار يريد اجتياحكم واستئصالكم فلو قال بعضهم إن كنت صادقا فأخبرنا بأي ساعة يصل إلينا وأين مكانه الآن فهل يعد هذا القائل عاقلا أم يحكم بسفهه وجنونه؟ يا سلام, سلم على جمال هذه العبارة. اسمعوا واستوعبوا وركزوا وخدوا الحتة دي, خدوا الحتة دي حضرتكم. He said, if a warner in the affairs of the dunya comes to his people, and that warner is known for his truthfulness and his sincerity for them, or sincerity to them, and he came to them while they have an enemy that has been waiting for the opportunity to attack them. And then this person comes to them and says, I have left your enemy who have already started marching towards you, and they are coming here in order to eradicate you and destroy all of you. And then if some of them were to say to him, if you are truthful, you will tell us what time they will arrive. And where are they at the very moment? The Sheikh said, would you consider the questioner to be a person of sound intellect, or would you consider him to be a person that is absolutely feeble-minded and stupid and insane? Like me not being able to tell you what time they will arrive because I don't know. And you know, what was that? And where they are at the moment because I also don't know, does not mean that I did not leave them or see them in the state of marching towards you. There's absolutely no relationship between the two. And for you to say, I'm going to reject the fact that they are marching towards us to eradicate us on the premise that you cannot answer those two particular nuanced questions is indicative of your feeble-mindedness and your craziness, my man. هذا والمخبر يمكن صدقه وكذبه. This, while the speaker, the informer, it could be that he is truthful and it could be that he's a liar. والعدو قد يبدو له غيرهم وقد تنحل عزيمته, and maybe the enemy will change their mind and they will not be as determined. وهم قد يكون بهم مناعة يدافعون بها عن أنفسهم, and they themselves, the ones who are being attacked, may even have the ability and the strength to defend themselves. فكيف بمن كذب أصدق الخلق المعصوم في خبره. This was in a worldly situation. Even in the worldly situation, a normal worldly situation, the one who's telling you this could be a liar actually. And you could be nonchalant, or let them come, we will destroy them. When they come to eradicate us, we will eradicate them. The Sheikh saying this is in the worldly life. But what about when the person who's bringing you the news is the most truthful and the most infallible of the creation in his information? The Prophet ﷺ doesn't lie. Infallible in that sense. الذي لا ينطق عن الهوى بالعذاب اليقين. The one who does not speak of his own desires and then tells you about the certain punishment. الذي لا مدفع له ولا ناصر منه. The one, and that punishment which has no one to repel and no one to defend you against. أليس رد خبره بحجة عدم بيان وقت وقوعه من أسفه السفه. Isn't it then that rejecting the information he brought you on the premise or with the excuse that he has not clarified to you exactly when it will take place, among the most feeble-mindedness of feeble-mindedness? Isn't it so? قل لهم مخبرا بوقت وقوعه الذي لا شك فيه. Say to them, informing them about the inevitability of its taking place. لكم ميعاد يوم لا تستأخرون عنه ساعة ولا تستقدمون. For you is the appointment of a day when you will not remain there after an hour, nor will you precede it. فاحذروا ذلك اليوم وأعدوا له عدته. So be wary of that day and make the necessary preparation for it. Ayah number 31, يا شيخ.
وقال الذين كفروا لن نؤمن بهذا القرآن ولا بالذي بين يديه ولو ترى إذ الظالمون موقوفون عند ربهم يرجع بعضهم إلى بعض القول يقول الذين استضعفوا للذين استكبروا لولا أنتم لكنا مؤمنين قال الذين استكبروا للذين استضعفوا أنحن صددناكم عن الهدى بعد إذ جاءكم بل كنتم مجرمين وقال الذين استضعفوا للذين استكبروا بل مكر الليل والنهار إذ تأمروننا أن نكفر بالله ونجعل له أندادا وأسروا الندامة لما رأوا العذاب وجعلنا الأغلال في أعناق الذين كفروا هل يجزون إلا ما كانوا يعملون.
Powerful ayat indeed. Powerful ayat. Speaking of powerful ayat, I came across a little clip of an individual who was telling his story of Islam. Jeffrey Lang, a brother by the name of Jeffrey Lang, is a professor in university who was a Christian and embraced Islam. A Christian became atheist and he became Muslim. And he was basically sharing his interaction with the Quran, and specifically the beginning, the first story, the story of Adam alayhi salam, the creation of Adam, and Allah telling the angels that he will have a minister on earth. And they said, why would you have someone that would, spread corruption and spill blood? وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ, while we are celebrating your praise and we are, venerating you and so on and so forth. And then Allah said, I know what you don't know. Now you read those ayat and, you just, because we're used to it, we don't really read between the lines, if I may use this term. But when you read that brother's interaction and in-depth critical thinking of these ayat and how those ayat led them to Islam, the least you could be is be baffled. You will be baffled by the impact that the Quran has on people. The impact that the Quran has on people, even the translation of the Quran in English. And that brings me to another point that I've been wanting to get off my chest. And I don't know whether I should say it in Arabic or in English. Maybe I should say it both so that it could be delivered to those ridiculous Arabs. Because some of us Arabs are absolutely ridiculous. Compound ignorance. No, I don't even know what to tell y'all. But let me tell you a story. It's a very short story, so don't panic. I'm going through some videos on one of these social media platforms, and I come across a Western American lady who basically says, I have the Quran with me, and I'm going to open up the Quran, and whatever I wind up opening, whatever I wind up landing, whatever page I land on, I'm just going to read those verses. I'm curious. I'm a curious fellow. This is related to da'wah. I said, let me tune in and hear what's going on. She opens, I believe, Surah Fussilat, and the lady starts reading, and obviously the ayat hit hard. The ayat speak about Jannah and Jahannam and the kuffar, and this is what happened to them, and this is the reward of those who disbelieve in Allah, the hellfire, and then those who were in the hellfire will say, oh Allah, allow us to see those who have misled us so we can put them beneath our feet. Those ayat in Surah Fussilat. And the lady actually starts crying. The lady gets so touched by what she's reading, she starts crying. Tamam? And then she says at the end, if this is not a reminder, if this is not a sign for me, actually, I think she said this, if this is not a sign for me, then I don't know what is. And I'm like, Alhamdulillah. I'm looking at this like, MashaAllah, Tabarakallah. I mean, hey, in spite of the fact that it's in English, the Quran, the message of the Quran hits hard. And then I did the biggest mistake of my life. I wanted to see the comments. I thought I was going to see some lovely comments by some lovely Muslims. And astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illahu. Ya jama'a, wallahi, you will think I'm joking. The first comment, it is not permissible to read the Quran in other than Arabic. Like 2,000 likes. I'm like, what? What? The second comment, you need to cover your head. You need to put on a hijab before you read the Quran. Hoppa. The third comment, the Quran should not be, this is not allowed that you read the Quran just randomly like this. The fourth, Ya Jama'ah, the amount of negative comments, and some of these comments are repeated by multiple people, and they all have likes upon likes upon likes. People issuing fatwa left, right, and center, telling this lady that she cannot read the Quran in English. She needs to learn Arabic and then read the Quran in Arabic. يا أيها المسلمون اتقوا الله. لا يجوز الكلام في دين الله بغير علم. لا يجوز الكلام في دين الله بغير علم. من المحرمات العظام، وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. من قال لكم أنه لا يجوز لغير المسلم أن يقرأ القرآن باللغة الإنجليزية؟ ومن قال لكم أنه يجب الوضوء قبل قراءة القرآن المترجم للغة الإنجليزية؟ ومن قال لكم أنه يجب تغطية الرأس للمرأة عند قراءة القرآن؟ كل هذا ما أنزل الله به من سلطان، وأنتم تصدون عن سبيل الله. وأنتم تصدون عن سبيل الله. كيف تظنون دخل غير المسلمين في الإسلام؟ ما ظنكم كيف دخلوا في الإسلام إن لم يحصل ما حصل مع هذه المرأة؟ إما أن يقرأوا كتاب الله بلغة مترجمة، أو أن يدعوهم شخص، وعندما يدعوهم شخص إلى الإسلام لا يسلموا مباشرة. قد يعطيهم هذا الشخص القرآن كهدية، القرآن المترجم، ليس المصحف باللغة العربية الذي لا ترجمة فيه. هذا لا مصلحة لأي غير عربي فيه أصلا، لن يستطيع أن يقرأ. أما المترجم فحكمه يختلف، ويجوز لمسه لغير الطاهر لغير المتوضئ لأنه مترجم. فهؤلاء عندما يذهبون إلى البيت يقرؤون هذا القرآن، وهكذا يدخلوا في دين الله، هكذا يتعرفون على دين الله فيسلموا بالآلاف والملايين. وأنتم على التيك توك تسمعون الحرام وتنظرون إلى الحرام، ثم إذا مررتم على فيديو فيه كلام عن دين الله. أفتيتم بغير تردد ولا خشية لله ولا تقوى ولا شيء. كل يتكلم من كيسه ويفتي من كيسه ويضل الناس بغير علم. ما يجوز، والله ما يجوز هذا الكلام. فنصيحتي للجميع، إذا لم تكن من أهل التخصص في هذا المجال، هذا الفن، هذا العلم، لا تتكلم فيه، لا تتكلم فيه. ولكنك إذا تكلمت فأنت مسؤول بين يدي الله عز وجل. فلا تدمر نفسك ولا تكن سببا لإعاقة الناس وتعيقهم عن الدخول في دين الله. والله المستعان. So basically, people saying you need to have wudu, you need to have tahara. What was the other one? I forgot. They came up with all kinds of rules and regulations, not allowing the person. Oh yeah, some of them said you have to make wudu. A disbeliever is going to make wudu and read the Quran. Her wudu is invalid, ya hajj. Al-Muhim. There you have it. Anyways, bismillah. So the Quran, so this Jeffrey Lang, his interaction with those ayat is just from another, subhanallah, it's just inspiration from Allah. It's an inspiration from Allah. How he read the ayat, how he understood them, how his Christian background played a role in how he understood those Quranic ayat and how they were a reason for his guidance to Islam. Right. So I was reading, and those who disbelieve say we will never believe in the Quran nor in that before it. But if you could see when the wrongdoers are made to stand before their Lord, refuting each other's words, those who were oppressed will say to those who were arrogant, if not for you, we would have been believers. Those who were arrogant will say to those who were oppressed, did we avert you from guidance after it had come to you? Rather, you were criminals. Those who were oppressed will say to those who were arrogant, it was your conspiracy of night and day when you were ordering us to disbelieve in Allah and attribute to Him equals. But they will all confide regret when they see the punishment, and we will put shackles on the necks of those who disbelieved. Will they be recompensed except for what they used to do? Did we read this already? No. Okay. So now let's go back to the Shaykh, rahimahullah. So the Shaykh said, لما ذكر تعالى أن ميعاد المستعجلين بالعذاب لا بد من وقوعه عند حلول أجله. When Allah the Exalted mentioned that the appointment for those who are hastening and asking for the hastening of the punishment, it is inevitable that will take place when the time is right. ذكر هنا حالهم في ذلك اليوم. Allah Azza wa Jal then proceeded to mention their condition on that day, the day that they are very excited about in the wrong way. وأنك لو رأيت حالهم إذ وقفوا عند ربهم واجتمع الرؤساء والأتباع في الكفر والضلال. Then if you were only to see their affair when they are standing before their Lord, and the leaders and the followers will all gather. The leaders and the followers of disbelief and misguidance will all gather before Allah. لرأيت أمرا عظيما وهولا جسيما. You would see a tremendous great matter. ورأيت كيف يتراجع ويرجع بعضهم إلى بعض القول. And you will see how they will now try to retract and how they will argue and go back and forth with each other in their statements. فيقول الذين استضعفوا وهم الأتباع. So those who were oppressed and those are the followers, they will say للذين استكبروا, to the arrogant, وهم القادة, and that would be the leaders, لولا أنتم لكنا مؤمنين. Had it not been for you, we would have been believers. ولكنكم حلتم بيننا وبين الإيمان. However, you have separated us. You were a barrier between us and Iman. وزينتم لنا الكفران فتبعناكم على ذلك. And you adorned for us disbelief, and so we followed you accordingly. ومقصودهم بذلك أن يكون العذاب على الرؤساء دونهم. What they intend by saying that is that they want the punishment to be exclusively to the leaders and not them. قال الذين استكبروا للذين استضعفوا مستفهمين لهم ومخبرين أن الجميع مشتركين في الجرم. So those who were arrogant will say to those who were oppressed, in a state of in an interrogative manner, and also informing them that they're all partners in criminality. أنحن صددناكم عن الهدى بعد إذ جاءكم أي بقوتنا وقهرنا لكم. Did we prevent you? Did we stop you from the truth after it has come to you? Meaning we did so by with a strength and by subduing you. بل كنتم مجرمين أي مختارين الإجرام. No, rather you were criminals, meaning you selected criminal behavior. لستم مقهورين عليه. You were not forced, you were not subdued to do it. وإن كنا قد زينا لكم فما كان لنا عليكم من سلطان. Even though we might have adorned it for you, we still had no authority over you. فقال الذين استضعفوا للذين استكبروا بل مكر الليل والنهار إذ تأمروننا أن نكفر بالله ونجعل له أندادا. They said, however, it is the conspiracy of night and day when you were ordering us to disbelieve in Allah and attribute to Him equals. أي بل الذي دهانا منكم ووصل إلينا من إضلالكم ما دبرتموه من المكر في الليل والنهار. What has affected us, what has reached us from you, and that caused us to be misguided is what you have prepared of conspiracy in the night and the day. إذ تحسنون لنا الكفر وتدعوننا إليه. Wherein you would beautify, enhance for us disbelief, and you invite us to it. وتقولون إنه الحق, and you further say, this is the truth. This is the truth. وتقدحون في الحق وتهجنونه وتزعمون أنه الباطل. And then you criticize the truth and you make it seem like it is reprehensible, and you claim that it is falsehood. That reminds me of our affair with the Deobandis, with the Barelvis, with the Sufis, with the Shia, with the Ikhwanis, with the Tablighis, and we can go on for a long time saying is of all these denominations. All of them, they have a unified mission, which is to beautify and adorn falsehood and invite you to it, and then to make the truth that we promote to seem reprehensible and to divert you away from it. That is their unified, singular mission that they all join hands and forces with each other for. They have their own differences, they have their own beef, but they can all become a hamburger if we're going to be sandwiched. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's a lot of food involved in this example. The bottom line is, this is the only time they come together. When the Salafis are the problem, the Salafis are misguided. The Mujassima, those who attribute to Allah body parts, those who affirm Allah's face and Allah's hands, we become the problem. And their philosophical understanding of Islam that is based on all kinds of deviance is, the way forward and purity of Islam. Allah al-Musta'an. فما زال مكركم بنا وكيدكم إيانا حتى أغويتمونا وفتنتمونا. So then your plotting and planning against us was so persistent to the point that you have أغويتمونا, you've deluded us. وفتنتمونا, and you have become a trial for us. You basically misled us. فلم تفد تلك المراجعة بينهم شيئا إلا تبري بعضهم من بعض والندامة العظيمة. This entire discussion and back and forth between them brought about absolutely nothing except them declaring innocence from one another and the great regret. ولهذا قال وأسروا الندامة لما رأوا العذاب. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal said, and they have kept the how was it translated? And they will confide regret when they see the punishment. Subhanallah. They confided the regret when they saw the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أي زال عنهم ذلك الاحتجاج الذي احتج به بعضهم لينجو من العذاب. So this entire excuse, this host of excuses that they were using against each other now will come to prove to be of no avail. وعلم أنه ظالم مستحق له, and then the person will know that he's an oppressor who deserves the punishment. فندم كل منهم غاية الندم. Each one of them then will regret it in the most grievous way. وتمنى أنه لو كان على الحق وأنه ترك الباطل الذي أوصله إلى هذا العذاب سرا في أنفسهم, and he will wish that he had been upon the truth, and he would wish he had left that falsehood that has led him to this punishment. But he will keep that all what? سرا في أنفسهم. They will keep it all as a secret in themselves. لخوفهم من الفضيحة في إقرارهم على أنفسهم, because of their fear of the scandal if they were to admit and confess against themselves. وفي بعض مواقف القيامة وعند دخولهم النار يظهرون ذلك الندم جهرا. However, in certain moments or positions and on the day of resurrection, and at the time of them entering the fire, they will actually express that verbally, that regret. ويوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا. You know the ayat in Surah Al-Furqan. And on the day when the oppressor will bite on his hand and he will say, I wish I had taken with the prophet or with the messenger a path. يا ويلتا ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا. Woe to me, I wish I had not taken such and such person as a friend. Al-Ayat. And another ayat, وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Surah Al-Mulk. And they will say, if we had we only heard and comprehended and reasoned, we would not have been among the companions of the fire. فَاعْتَرَفُوا بِذَنْبِهِمْ فَسُحْقًا لِأَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Then they will confess their sin. So destruction shall be upon the inhabitants of the fire. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal not to make us among them. وَجَعَلْنَا الْأَغْلَالَ فِي أَعْنَاقِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And then we will make the chains, and we will put the shackles on the necks of those who disbelieved. يُغَلُّونَ كَمَا يُغَلُّ الْمَسْجُونُ الَّذِي سَيُهَانُ فِي سِجْنِهِ. They are shackled the same way the prisoner is shackled who's being taken into his prison and humiliated. كما قال تعالى إذ الأغلال في أعناقهم والسلاسل يسحبون في الحميم ثم في النار يجرون العياذ بالله. And when the shackles are around their necks and the chains, they're being dragged in the fire, and then into the fire they will be dragged. Al-Ayat. هل يجزون? Are they recompensed? في هذا العذاب والنكال وتلك الأغلال الثقال. This punishment and this humiliation and those heavy shackles, are these anything but a recompense? إلا ما كانوا يعملون من الكفر والفسوق والعصيان, except that which they used to do of disbelief, disobedience, and sinfulness. And we'll stop here, inshallah. We'll stop here and we will do the ayat 34, which are page 1477 on the PDF, please. 1477 on the PDF, ayah number 34. Since we have a lot of hyperactive people present today, and a little bit of a beef is going on here, I wanna put it to an end. Ay. ماذا جرى لكم يا عباد الله؟ Oh, Ikhwan, where's my bag? Tomorrow, your brother Abu Mussab, inshallah, is going to be involved in a marathon. I'm going to be running for my life. So we are forced to cancel tomorrow's An-Nawawi class. I was going to reschedule it, but I honestly don't know what my schedule is going to look like tomorrow. So tomorrow there will be no class, inshallah. Shukran jazilan ayyuhal halwinu. Assalamu alaikum, Ustad wa alaikum salam. Which scholars for you recommend to listen to for beginners in Arabic who are currently alive? Why does it have to be who are currently alive? Sheikh Salim al-Tawil is pretty easy to understand, and Sheikh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili. Even though Sheikh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili is advanced, depending on what he's teaching though. Naam. How do I become motivated to do good in college? By knowing that as a Muslim, if you attended the hadith, the 40 hadith Nawawi with us, yeah, Bob Miller, I don't know if your name is really Bob Miller, but one of my favorite names in the world is Bob. That's ridiculous, Bob. If you attended, you will know that Islam and Allah loves that if we do something, to do it with ihsan. So when you do something, you do it to the best of your ability. And you would also know that you having a position of leadership in Islam, it makes you the shot caller, the decision maker, and therefore you are the one who tells people what to do. You are not told by a non-Muslim what to do. So if you want to become a boss and act like a boss and live like a boss and run like a boss and move like a boss, then you need to do good in college to become a boss. Otherwise, you will be bossed. And when you're bossed, you're going to get some punk somewhere who's going to drive you nuts and make you crazy. Those who know. Don't clip that one. Adil Najjar is telling you exactly how he feels. Adil, you're a little rough, Adil. We don't have to admit. But then Adil is just doing this because he's very keen on making sure that I don't get distracted. So first we'll say Jazakallah khairan ya Adil Najjar for keeping everybody in check. But I guess for those who don't know you or have just joined, then they might be taken aback a little bit by your stern approach. I'm okay with it. But yeah, if we need to mellow down a little bit for the people, then let us do so, inshallah. Let me do the dirty work and you just be the nice guy, like I did with that guy, Muhammad. Now, what do you think about keto diet? Does it help with the energy level? Leave keto alone. Keto is not sustainable. Any diet that requires of you to leave something completely and rely on something else that is generally not healthy for you completely is bad for you. Yes, I know if somebody wants to shed a few kilos or pounds immediately, then eating a bunch of fat all day and night will somehow trick your body into burning fat instead of burning using that fat to burn. It's a weird reaction or formula within the body, but it's not sustainable because you cannot live the rest of your life eating avocados and eggs and almonds. You understand? You need to have a balanced diet. So you will wind up regaining the weight that you once shed, that you have shed because of a keto diet. No keto diet. Eat healthy. Eat a balanced diet. Avoid bad carbs. Avoid bread in general. Avoid certain things and fried food in general, stuff like avoid sugary drinks and food in general, but then you could have a little bit of those and still be all right. Keto is no good, Sadiko. Fine. Eggs doesn't make you a keto eater. I just had eggs for breakfast as well, Manuka. I had eggs for breakfast. Actually, I had what seems to be a keto sandwich. No, it's not. It has bread. It was eggs with spinach and mushrooms and onions, mashallah, tabarakallah. No problemo. It was all good. I'm just saying. Ustad, there's a game I know in when the character dies from damage, you could see his soul rising from his body with white wings on his back. Would that make the game haram? I don't know, man. That's wild. Which Samsung phone do you recommend for running a high graphics car racing mobile video game? The S24 Ultra, The S24 Ultra. That is the phone I recommend. With a ruggedized cover, so that if you throw it from the 34th floor, it will land on your friend. Now, it will land on an iPhone and break it. Next, Mamoon. Can you please explain who are Ikhwanis? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. Ya ayyuha al-ma'moon. Is it just a political group or do they have deviant beliefs that go against the Salaf? Please don't get angry. Too late. Ma'moon, I have a lecture called or titled Take It or Take It. Take it or take it. And in that lecture, I give advice to all the groups in Islam. And a special segment is dedicated to the one and only Ikhwan al-Muslimin, aka Ikhwan al-Muflisin, the bankrupt brothers. Please refer to the lecture and you will get all the stuff that you want, inshallah. Brother, I agreed with your stance on not calling the wife angel, and I asked my husband to stop calling me angel. Now he calls me you devil. Yo, your husband is man. Yo, please tell me this is a joke. Sister, please tell me this is a joke. No way, man. What is wrong with your husband, man? Yeah, Akhi, please bring him. Call him right now. If he's in the kitchen, I don't know where he is. I don't know why I presume he's in the kitchen. Call the brother, put him on this thing right now. Let me talk to him. Ya Akhi, ishbak, ya Akhi. Ya Akhi, ishbak, ya Akhi. Ya Akhi, her parents named her by a name. Your wife has a name. We don't know her name. We're not concerned about her name. Her name could be Khadija, could be Aisha, could be Monica, could be anything. Why don't you call her by her name? And why the extreme? If she's not an angel, she's a devil. It doesn't work. Yani, do you deal like this with the people in the street? Do you go to the supermarket and you tell the cashier, hey, are you the manager? He says no. Then you say, then you're the trash man. Ya akhi, why? I'm a cashier. Why do I have to be the CEO of the company or nobody? You do this at work. You tell the big boss, either he's this, if he's not, then he's the extreme opposite. Come on, man. Yeah, there you go. Call her Flower. That's a good one, ya Manuka. Call her Flower. يا زهرة اديني وردة وخذي من هالجزمة فردة واضربي راسك وراسي فيها وحدة. ايه التهريج ده؟ ايه القرف ده؟ Is it haram to distance yourselves? To distance ourselves. Distance, not distant. Is it haram to distance ourselves from bad neighbors who took advantage of our kindness, use our properties like it's theirs without permission, and ايش؟ تتجسس؟ لا طبعا ما ينفع. ايش تتجسس؟ To spy on them؟ أعوذ بالله. يعني ولا تسئ إلى من أساء إليك. Didn't we learn this in the 40 Nawawi? Don't treat badly the one who treats you badly. No, you could avoid them. You still give them salam and you keep minimal communication with them. You know what I mean? But you cannot, spy on them. What did you do, Mussab? You did not spy on. You're not allowed to spy on them or to become mean. Just don't give them. Don't spend too much time with them if they're being like this. They tajassus on us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they've done. Khali wali. Khali wali. Yalla. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Is it okay to read the works of Imam al-Ghazali? Are his teachings as per the Quran and Sunnah? No, it is not permissible to read the works of Imam Ghazali. And no, his teachings are not as per the Quran and the Sunnah. What is your opinion on ASWJ Australia? Stay away from these wild people. Stay away from these wild takfiris. I thought they were Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Turns out that they were takfiri kharijis. That last video I saw of their Maulana with the Shamagh and Ni'agal giving it his all and doing mass takfir like I haven't seen in many years before is absolutely ridiculous, Bob. Khali Wali ASWJ. I'm officially warning against ASWJ Australia. Until they get rid of their head and they have some decent brothers in charge and they fear Allah with this takfir of theirs, they are to be avoided at all cost. I think at some point they were going to invite me. Alhamdulillah, I didn't go. If there's a negation from Allah to do we negate specifically everything linked to it? Example, Allah does that. Ya ammi, وبعدين. Allah doesn't have a gender, so we negate all physical characteristics that are related to gender. Can you just please refer to my tafsir, not tafsir, Aqidah al-Wasitiyah classes? Please, you need to learn. It's going to be difficult to answer those peculiar questions because they're part of many principles. There's so many principles I need to explain, which really will take up a good half an hour. If I were to explain to you the principles upon which we understand the affirmation and the negation of the names and attributes of Allah, please refer to my playlist on my channel for Al-Aqidah Al-Wasitiyya and get a comprehensive, long 200 plus videos answer, inshallah. I think at least. Can you recommend scholars to learn from in Northern California? No idea. No idea what's happening in Cali. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam. Which prayer is better, witr or tahajjud? Witr is tahajjud, and tahajjud is witr. They're both the same, and therefore they're all good. At least it's supposed to be that tahajjud is witr. You pray tahajjud and you end it with the witr. How to respond to one who says all the ulama are in prison and the ones today are sellouts and puppets of the governments? How to respond? By saying you are a liar. Say ahlan bil kadhab, كيفك يا شيخ؟ كذاب, ابن كذاب, أبو كذاب, أخو كذاب, أخت كذاب, أنت كل شيء فيك كذب. We were just the other day, by Allah's grace and mercy, and I'm saying this to encourage you to attend the halaqat. We were just last week, we were in the class of Sheikh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili, where he taught the Kutayyib on Usul al-Fiqh by Sheikh Sa'di. Sheikh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili, one of the senior prime Salafi scholars, who is not in prison. And Sheikh al-Fawzan is not in prison. And Sheikh Shanqiti is not in prison. And Mufti al-Sheikh is not in prison. And we can go on forever telling you who's not in prison. As for those in prison, I don't know. I don't know about them, and I don't interfere in their affair. I don't involve myself in their affair because I don't know what they've done, what they haven't done, and I'm not the person in charge. And Allah will not ask me about any one of them. So I'm on my business, which is what you and your friend should do. Mind your business. But to claim that all of them are in prison and the rest are sellouts, tell them, okay, when you meet Allah Azza wa Jal, you can repeat that statement and get what you deserve. Prohibition to wear red, orange, yellow, is it for men only or for women as well? I don't recall right now. I'm not sure. From what I recall, it's men only, but I'm not sure. I live far away from the masjid. Is it permissible for me to lead jama'ah for salah at home? Yes. If you don't hear the adhan and you're not going to pray in the masjid, yes, you can pray jama'ah at home and you could be their imam. If I lie in my CV and get the job, does my income become haram or only my sinfulness for lying? It depends. It depends on what lie is there in the CV and how much of it is connected to your daily work. Whatever the case may be, don't lie in your CV. Ustad, what to do if one forgets sujood as-sahw? He repeats the salah afterwards. If the time, so much time has passed where it's not recoverable, you repeat the salah. Come on, you know the scholars, ya Atif. We've been saying the names of our scholars for how many years? Sheikh bin Baz rahimahullah, Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah, Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih bin Uthaymeen rahimahullah, Sheikh Aman al-Jami rahimahullah. Who else do you want? All of these are our mashayikh who have passed away. I can't think of other names right now. Who? What? Did Prophet Sulaiman go through any major hardships? It seemed like he had it all: kingdom wealth, superhuman abilities, concubines, etc. Every prophet had gone through hardship. And the story of Sulaiman is laid out in the Quran. And you could see the hardship that he also faced with the queen of Saba. And all the stress that it brought in the efforts of giving da'wah to the people. So giving da'wah to the people is a hardship in and of itself. Inviting the people to Tawheed and having to deal with the aftermath and the ramifications and the consequences of giving da'wah is all the hardship that you could have. And he had his fair share of that. Alayhi salatu wassalam. Na'am. And then we also have the fitna. You have the fitna in Surah Sad or Surah Qaf. Surah Sad. Surah Sad tells you about Sulaiman. That he, because of the as-safinat al-jiyad, he was observing the beautiful horses, and the salah was missed, and he said, "Rudduha ilay fatafiqa," and then he started, slaughtering them. And his fitna is also mentioned in the Quran. Maybe you have not read the entire Quran yet, Ziyana, but when you read the entire Quran, you will come across some of the trials and the hardships that Sulaiman alayhi salam had gone through. Now, what are the negatives? What are the negatives if you die upon Jahiliyyah? Nothing. Just you go to hell. No biggie. What do you mean? If you die upon Jahiliyyah, meaning you die as a kafir. What are the negatives? Nothing. You just burn in hell forever. How do you like that one? How to deal with those young and energetic Spubs followers? I saw recently a brother said, making a joke about how Khadija takes you outside of Islam. Allah. They also do tabdi'ah of Muhammad bin Hadi. These people, just don't waste your time with them. And I've reached a point where, we just try to keep peace and let them be. Make dua that Allah guides them. It's a very difficult task. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Is it permissible to attend a mixed university if the major I'm taking is dominated by women? The job has a 97% female workforce. My friend said there weren't any men in her cohort. So how am I supposed to know if you're a man or a woman in the first place? Ya Hajji. Are you a man or a woman? Doesn't matter. 97% of the university students are females. I don't even understand. The question doesn't even make sense. Either way, it's a mixed university. The answer is no. Whether it is 99 to 1% ratio, or whether it is dominated by humans or monkeys, or whether it is male or female, it doesn't matter. It's a mixed university. You may not go. That's the bottom line. Next time, please elaborate on your gender when the question may be gender related. Can you call a deviant a zindiq? Yes and no. You could say that this person has fallen into zandaqa, which is like a very advanced level of deviance that flirts with kufr, but you cannot use the term deviant and zindiq synonymously, meaning not every deviant is a zindiq. Not every deviant is a zindiq, but every zindiq is a deviant. So there were times where I've called some of these, like for example, someone like Daniel Hakikachu is flirting with zandaqa. This person is flirting with zandaqa, if not a zindiq already. But I say this as a sign of major deviance, just short of kufr, just short of disbelief and leaving Islam altogether because of his wholesale takfir, and because of his mockery of the deen, because of his misunderstanding of patriarchy and feminism and red pill and all the crazy stuff and all the stupid memes that he puts. All these takfir memes. He has a lot of memes that are embedded with kufr in them. So he's an ignorant person who doesn't know what he's saying 80% of the time. So, maybe he's excused for jahl. But at the end of the day, that's an example of someone that I will be close to calling a zindiq. But not every deviant is a zindiq. Now, yalla, it's 201. What's your opinion, shield of the symbol of dream catcher as I saw it on my cousin bed sheets? It's shirk. The shield of the symbol of the dream catcher is shirk, and a Muslim should not be involved in it in any way, shape, or form. All right, akhwan wa akhawat, hayyakum Allah wa bayyakum wa barakallah fikum. We're reaching the 1 hour mark. And Abu Artisan is still living in his dreamland, thinking that he's Michael Jordan. أنت مو Michael Jordan, أنت ميكائيل أردن أولا. And if you think you're MJ, then that stands for miserable job. That's what you are. You're a miserable job on the basketball court. And when I play against you, inshallah, your career is going to change. it will be the end of your career, whatever your career may be. Not just in basketball. I will end all of your career on all fronts. Be ready, Abu Artijan. I'm going to turn you to a cheese known as Parmesan. All right, that's enough, guys. طيب حياكم الله وبياكم وبارك الله فيكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.